breastfeeding.
Moving to another level.
Breastfeeding. Not breastfeeding. You just be talking it. Just be giving it to words like gods, you know. Okay. Good morning. It's a bright Tuesday morning here in Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome to the Health Convo on Niger Health Radio, your wellness companion. My name is Ogo, and I am with Dr. Adeola. She's the head, Prevention Care and Quality Improvement Services of Equitable Health Access Initiative. How are you doing today, Dr. Adeola?
I'm very well, thank you. Good morning, everybody. How are you two doing?
I'm well.
I see you're wearing your Start Strong
We need
shirt.
to start strong, you know.
Yeah, breastfeeding.
Yes, we do. And I love your Afro look, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay, on today's show, we'll be talking about breastfeeding. Breastfeeding. World Breastfeeding Week begins each year on the 1st of August and runs through until the 7th. It aims to highlight the huge benefits that breastfeeding can bring to both the health and welfare of babies, as well as a wider push for maternal health, focusing on good nutrition, poverty reduction, and food security. The event is organized every year by the World Alliance for Breastfeeding Action, WABA, a global network that aims to protect, promote, and support breastfeeding around the world. Along the way, it works with the World Health Organization and UNICEF to get its aid to the right people in the right communities. Having said that, Dr. Adeola, what are the benefits of breastfeeding to a baby?
The breastfeeding is, of course, feeding the baby breast milk. Okay. And it offers benefits to the baby and also to the mother. But just like you asked me, what are the benefits of breastfeeding to the baby? Like we know, the breast milk is a source of nutrition to the baby. Okay. So the breast milk and breastfeeding as a process helps in the development of the child, not just the growth and development of the physical appearance, but also of the brain of the child. So helps in development and growth of the child. It also helps in prevention of some common infections in children. Studies have been done and it has shown that children who are breastfed are less susceptible to respiratory tract infections and diarrhea, which are very common illnesses in babies that could also affect them and affect their growth, affect their weight gain over the period of time. Breast feeding also helps the baby to bond with the mother. Okay. So it actually helps the baby to get close and bond with the mother. Okay. So these are some of the benefits of breastfeeding to the baby.
Okay, so now let's talk about the benefits of breastfeeding to the mother.
The mother
who is breastfeeding the
baby.
You
know, when we talk about breastfeeding, many times everybody's thinking about the baby. Even the mother thinks she's breastfeeding for the baby, but she's actually doing a lot to herself. First off, let's look at the first few months after delivery. Breastfeeding, especially if it's done exclusively, actually helps the uterus to contract and return back to its normal size.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So it helps the uterus to return back to its normal size. That is going to help the mother's tummy to return back. It's also going to help the mother lose all the weight gained during pregnancy. Okay. So, I mean, which mother doesn't want to look good and lose all the fat after pregnancy. Breastfeeding helps to achieve that. Breastfeeding also helps and serves as a form of contraceptive for the baby, for the mother, sorry. So mothers who breastfeed exclusively for the first 6 months, they are actually protected from getting pregnant, which for me is a good deal.
Is it 100% the protection?
It's almost 100. If the mother breastfeeds exclusively, those first 6 months, almost 100%. And even if she sees her menses, she will not get pregnant.
I see.
It's anovulatory menses. So for the first 6 months, yes. But after the 6 months, when other meals and complementary feeding is introduced, then the protection begins to wane. And then the mother will need to use another form of contraceptive to protect herself from getting pregnant. Of course, breastfeeding also helps the mother to bond with the baby, you know. So that bonding is not something just the baby needs. It also helps the mother to also needs to bond with the baby. So breastfeeding also helps the mother to bond with the baby. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. Yes, I agree with you about I remember when I was breastfeeding my babies, I always have this feeling on my tummy. Yes, so that's
uterine
contraction. So that's with what you mentioned. So, okay, so another aim of Breastfeeding Week is to raise awareness of the health and well-being outcomes of breastfeeding and the importance of supporting mothers to breastfeed for as long as they wish. Having said that, how long should exclusive breastfeeding be done?
I mean, the news is all over town. Exclusive breastfeeding is for the first 6 months. Exclusive
we'll continue to
for the first 6 months. And we will also emphasize that exclusive breastfeeding is giving the baby only breast milk. Whether the sun is 40 degrees centigrade or 25 degrees centigrade, exclusive breastfeeding is giving the mother only breast milk.
No water.
No water at all, except prescribed medications by a doctor.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
For the first 6 months.
Exclusive, only breast milk, no water. Mothers, no water. How does the mother's diet affect breastfeeding? What should the mothers?
So you know, there are a lot of things, especially in our culture, about what the mother eats and breastfeeding. Sometimes I just pity mothers. So you hear them say, take something hot so that the baby will not have cold. You know, as far as that, like when you take ice, the ice just goes as ice and goes through the stomach, intestine, and it's still ice when it comes out of the breast, you know. And then you hear things like, if you eat this particular kind of food, your baby will not get adequate nutrition. The good news is that the way God has made the breast milk is such that the macronutrients that are in the breast milk, that's the protein, the fats, and the lactose, they are unchanged, irrespective of the mother's diet. Studies have shown that these things remain the same, irrespective of what the mother eats. So even in conditions where the mother does not have adequate nutrition, you will see that if the babies are breastfed exclusively, it is the mother that will be getting really, really thin. The baby will still be looking good. Now, having said that, what the mother takes could affect the baby. What do I mean by that? So if the mother doesn't hydrate adequately, for example, the quantity of the breast milk that will be produced may be reduced. So that's why we emphasize hydration for the mother. Also, some substances are excreted in the breast milk. For example, caffeine. So if the mother is taking a lot of caffeine, you may discover that the baby may not also sleep well. Yes. And then sometimes when you take some dairy products, that makes the mother gas, you could notice some fussiness or restlessness in the baby. So to that extent, yes, the mother's nutrition may affect the baby. But by and large, macronutrients that the baby needs to grow and develop, they are not compromised, irrespective of the mother's diet. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that information. So, how will the mother know the baby is getting enough breast milk? Because sometimes mother will be like, hey, baby's okay, or baby, So how?
Yeah.
will
So
mothers know?
sometimes new mothers come to me, and they tell me that they think their baby is not getting enough breast milk. Usually, that is one of the reasons why mothers actually stop breastfeeding exclusively, because they think what they are giving their baby is not enough, so they want to add to it. So I see this baby looking well fed, has gained weight, is progressively gaining weight. In fact, the shirt is barely fitting the baby and the button is almost popping out. And the mother is saying, I think my baby is not getting enough breast milk. So how do you know? First off, when your baby is gaining weight and you're exclusively breastfeeding, that means that the baby is getting something. So the baby is gaining weight, the baby is getting breast milk. For babies that are exclusively breastfed, in the first 6 months, at least you should change the baby's diaper, or rather the baby should pee about 6 times in a day.
Okay.
And the pee should be light colored. It shouldn't, yes,
okay.
The pee should be light colored, not dark yellow, meaning that the baby is not dehydrated. So when the color of the pee is yellowish, it may be a sign that the baby is not getting enough milk and enough water, and so the baby is dehydrated. Also, when the mother feeds the baby and the baby becomes calm after breastfeeding and seems to be satisfied, rested in the mother's hand, is a sign that the baby has had enough. Sometimes you may see milk in the corner of the baby's mouth when they are sucking. So those are signs that the baby is getting enough breast milk. When the mother also finishes breastfeeding, our breast should actually feel soft, meaning that the baby has emptied the breast. So when the mother finishes breastfeeding and the breast is still hard, then it's likely that the baby may have been moving his lips and all that, may not have been sucking, or may not have been getting anything out of the breast. So, and then the baby is calm, baby is not crying after breastfeeding. Those are cues and signs that the baby is actually getting enough milk.
Okay, so I sometimes I see mothers struggling when they try to position the mouth of the baby around the nipple. So what's the right position?
So there is attachment and there is positioning. So attachment is actually the relation of the baby's mouth to the mother's breast. Now the mother's breast has the black parts, the areola around the nipple. And then we have the nipple. Those are the 2 points where the baby actually has business with when sucking, when breastfeeding. So when the baby is properly attached, 1, the baby's mouth will be wide opened.
Okay.
2, the upper part of the areola will be more exposed than the lower part, meaning that the lower part of the areola, that black part, the lip of the baby will cover almost all of the lower part of the areola, and then some part of the upper part will not be totally covered. Okay? And then the baby's mouth will be wide open. I've mentioned that.
Yes, you have.
And then the lips of the baby will be called, the lower lip will be called outside a little bit. Those are signs that the baby is properly attached to the mouth of the baby is properly attached to the, and then the chin of the baby will be touching the mother's breast or nearly touching the mother's breast. So by that you'll know that the baby is well attached, and then it's likely that milk is going to come out adequately for the baby during breastfeeding.
Okay, and then for the mother, so the sitting position when breastfeeding, what's the best?
She should sit comfortably. Her back should be well rested, and then she should be able to hold the trunk of the baby in her arm, well seated, and then there should be belly to belly contact of the baby to the mother. Yeah.
Okay, it's been a most interesting conversation on the show. Let's take a pause and enjoy this lovely tune by Miss V and Yemi Alade, My Mother. Enjoy.
You want to study me and do what you want, then hurry, hurry, come carry your baby, go. Come to see my mother, my mother. Come to see my mother, my mother. Come to see my mother, hey, my mother. Come to see my mother, my mother. Come and carry, come and carry, if you want, come and carry, come and carry, if you want, come and carry, come and carry, if you want, come and carry, come and carry. If you want my body, then come see my mommy. I know like your money, but I know you want my body, my body, my body. I love body. Come see my mommy. Make it official if you really mean now. Come and follow me all the way to Ghana. Hurry, hurry, come carry your baby, go. Come to see my mother, my mother. Come to see my mother, my mother. Come to see my mother, hey, my mother. Come to see my mother, my mother. Come and carry, come and carry, come and carry. If you want, come and carry, come and carry. Mr. Chama, Oga Landlord, Maradona, local street.
Welcome back to the show. You're still listening to Health Convo on Niger Health Radio, your wellness companion. That was Miss V featuring Yemi Alade with My Mother. It was released in 2018. My name is Ogo, and I am here with Dr. Adeola. She's the head Prevention Care and Quality Improvement Services of Equitable Health Access Initiative. We're still talking about breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Dr. Adeola.
Thank you.
So there are many different demands on busy mothers, meaning that women who may want to breastfeed their babies haven't always got the support to do so. Busy working schedules, alongside the many other challenges that modern women face, can mean that women don't always feel that breastfeeding their child is something that is an accessible option to them. Having said that, Dr. Adeola, if breastfeeding is so essential, what should be done in the case of orphaned babies?
Orphan babies, those are sad stories, you know. A baby comes into the world, some of them, they never even get to meet their mothers, you know. Some of them, their mothers breastfeed them for some days, weeks, months, and then pass away. And the baby is there, the need of the baby has not changed, even though the mother is not around. There are many options that can be explored in situations like this. There are some people that are called wet nurses, women who are also breastfeeding their own children, who can breastfeed alongside. So it's usually good to start inwards from the family. Maybe there is a sister or a cousin that is also breastfeeding, that can take the baby in and breastfeed alongside. Now I must caution, because there are so many infectious diseases that can be transmitted through breast milk now.
Okay.
So before that option will be explored, you need to screen such mothers to be sure that the breast milk is safe for the baby. So some screening will need to be done for such mothers. Now, in some developed societies, we have what we call breast milk banks, just like we have blood banks. We have what we call breast milk banks, where breast milk is stored, where women actually voluntarily donate their breast milk. Some people actually produce so much breast milk that they donate their breast milk to the breast milk bank, and then family members of the orphan baby can access breast milk through the breast milk bank. I think it's an initiative that the government of Nigeria should start thinking about. I mean, all this breastfeed. I mean, it's something that we should think about in Nigeria.
Because I'm not sure if we have something like that.
I've not heard of it before. The last option, of course, is complementary and is infant formula, substitute breast milk, substitutes for breast milk. So in situations where breast milk cannot be accessed consistently, then the orphan baby may need to start substitute breast milk, infant formula.
Okay, thank you for that.
But irrespective, that baby should be given milk for the first 6 months.
Okay.
Whether it is human breast milk or substitute breast milk.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that. So for working moms, how long should breast milk be stored?
Okay, so it depends on where you are storing your breast milk. If you are storing the breast milk at room temperature, just leaving outside, between 4 to 6 hours.
Okay.
Yes, after expression, the breast milk should be used. If you are storing in the refrigerator, it can last up to 4 months. Note that if you are storing breast milk in the refrigerator, it shouldn't be stored in the door of the refrigerator, because we all know that when you open the refrigerator, the temperature of the door actually is compromised. So make sure you store the breast milk at the back. Okay? And then if you are storing in the freezer, you can store for as long as 6 months. So people will say 12 months, but really 6 months is just good enough to store breast milk if you are storing in the freezer. I should also just point out that if you are storing breast milk, it's always good to label them. You know, label the day it was expressed, so that it will serve as a reminder. Or I'm assuming that for such mothers, it may not be the mother that is bringing out the breast milk all the time. Even if she's the one, she won't remember
when
which one, you know. So labeling them is important. And what we use in other storage rules in pharmacy, first in, first out, FIFO, should also apply. So the one that went in first should be the one that should come out first. Don't say, let me give the baby fresh one. The one you did 3 days and is still in the fridge. So that one should come out first. And then lastly, storing breast milk, you should ensure that if possible, it's stored in very small quantities. What do I mean? If you store, for example, 60 meals in the freezer, each time you bring it out, you have to wait for it to thaw. And then you get a certain amount and then you return. That will be compromising the quality of the macronutrients and micronutrients in the breast milk. So, but if you store in very small quantities, you can just bring out the quantity you use in a day and then consume it.
So I've heard women talk about when you bring out the breast milk from the fridge, you warm it, you put it in the pot, you put hot water in the pot, put it in the pot, or you microwave it. Please, is that right?
So you should allow the breast milk to thaw by itself. After it has thawed, you can put it in warm water, and allow it to warm up, and then feed the baby. Yes, I think that's just the best.
Not on fire,
not on fire,
in the microwave. Thank you very much. So does the size of the breast affect the quantity of breast milk produced?
You see, this our God is a very good God, you know. And whether you are size 8 breast, cup size 30, cup size 40, 50, 60, it doesn't affect, because the breast milk is produced in the breast. The breast is the production factory. So, and it is produced based on demand. So once there is demand, there will be production that will be adequate for the baby. Even if you want to express and your cup size is 28 or 27, you will still be able to express as much as the 40-something cup size is going to. So the size of the breast does not affect
the quantity of the breast milk.
So let me say, for the size of the breast, the only thing that can happen is that if the breast is really big, for very small babies, the mother will need to do some maneuvering to make sure that the breast is not covering the baby's nose and all that when breastfeeding.
Okay. So I noticed that some breastfeeding mothers they feel reluctant to breastfeed their baby because their nipples, they have a sore nipple. Okay, so what can a nursing mother
with a sore nipple do? You know, in public health, we always think of prevention. First thing is, why do you have a sore nipple? You have a sore nipple because there has been poor attachment. That's the major cause of sore nipples. So make sure you attach your baby very well. We have mentioned how to do proper attachment. If you have a sore nipple, please don't apply ointment. Apply breast milk on the sore nipple. If you can't, continue to feed the baby. If you can't continue feeding the baby because of pain, make sure you keep expressing the breast milk out of the sore nipple so that you won't have engorgement and then have breast infection as well. So continue breastfeeding if possible. Apply breast milk on the sore and express if need be.
Finally, how can a nursing mother ensure her baby is getting enough milk when she is ill?
When she's ill, she needs assistance. She can express the breast milk. So breast milk can still be expressed for such, and then she should get assistance as much as possible. She should stay hydrated as much as possible. So because the mother is ill, except very, very severe conditions, the baby should still be able to get breast milk from the mother.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adeola. That will be all on the show today.
Yeah, I wish you could go on and on talking about breastfeeding.
We should. I think we should do that
but
because there's a lot
There's
a lot to talk about on breastfeeding. We should. Yeah. It's been an amazing time with Dr. Adeola. Join us next week, Tuesday, same time, same link. Bye-bye.
Bye.